Brent Van Zant, City Engineer for the City of Peekskill, and we're here to talk about the winter parking regulations that are going to be coming up here soon. It's December 8th today, and obviously we haven't had any snow to date, but obviously the snow is going to be coming, so we're here to talk about our winter parking regulations. We just want to make sure everybody understands the rules for the winter parking. We want to get people onto the right side of the streets when they need to be there, so it makes it more efficient for my DPW staff to plow the roads. Chief is going to talk a little bit about how the signs work.
Winter parking rules, which will be in effect, mandate that people park on alternate sides of the street where the alternate side parking is permitted, or they are prohibited from parking on the street altogether. So they have to look for signs that indicate whether or not their street is an alternate side of the street parking permitted street. Those streets you have to park on the correct side between 8 p.m. and 8 a.m., and that's to allow the DPW crews to go out and efficiently remove snow.
Yeah, so what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the importance of getting people onto the right side of the street during the plowing operations and how it actually works. So basically during the snowstorm, my staff has to come out with the plows and keep the streets safe. So what we do is we plow one side of the street one night, and then the next night we actually ask you to move to the other side of the street. And that's how the winter alternate side of the street parking works, and it's very important so that we get the roads cleared so that the emergency vehicles get to where they need to be if there's an emergency. So the officer here will talk a little bit about what she sees when she's out on the roads in the middle of a winter storm.
Yes, it's very important to move your vehicle and pay attention to the signs because it's a hindrance for emergency vehicles to get through.
Another thing that residents have to understand is that when we are out plowing during a snowstorm, it's very important that the following night, I know people, one complaint that a lot of residents have is that it's not snowing, why do I have to follow the alternate side of the street parking? And they have to understand that it takes the DPW staff sometimes 2 or 3 nights after a snowstorm to actually safely clear the road. It's very important that we get all the snow off the streets, because if the snow is allowed to freeze over a couple nights, it'll actually narrow the roads, and it makes it very difficult for us to continue with the actual normal parking and also allow the emergency vehicles through. So that's very important. Another thing I would like to also touch on is when you are out shoveling your sidewalks and your driveways, it's very important that if you can shovel the snow to your property side or actually try to keep it off the streets, that's also a plus. We obviously come through and plow, and it makes it difficult for my staff if you do shovel the sidewalks and your driveways onto our streets after we've just come back and plowed. That also makes an icy condition on the streets, which is also unsafe. So if you could, when you're shoveling your driveways and sidewalks, keep the snow onto your own property, that would be greatly appreciated.
The City of Peekskill wants to be able to notify our residents in an emergency, and one of the ways we do so is through our Code Red notification system. Most residents are already opted into that, but some may not, and they can find information on how to successfully do so on our website, www.cityofpeekskill.com. They can find the Code Red link on that website and opt into the program. And that's a great program where we can make thousands of phone calls in a matter of minutes just to notify residents about any emergencies or situations that they need to be aware of, and certainly the winter parking rules are one of those. We also ask that residents tune into the government channel. The government channel will make the notification, or will have notifications on it regarding winter parking. And then also in the beginning of the winter, once the regulations are lifted, you will hear that through the press, both the print media, social media, and traditional media outlets, including radio and television. We also ask residents to keep an eye on our Facebook page, which is Peekskill Police. We often put important community notifications on that page as well, including winter parking alerts. We also have a Twitter page at Peekskill Police, and there's a lot of good information on there. So if you haven't seen our Facebook page or our Twitter feed, I encourage you to do so. There's a lot of good information for you there.
If you need to park during a winter storm, you can park at the city garages from 6 p.m. to 8 a.m. The city garages are Nelson Avenue ramp and also the James Street ramp.
As discussed previously, the current winter regulation parking has been suspended, obviously, as the weather's nice. So we want you to keep an eye up, but probably about a day or two before the first winter storm, we will be posting that the winter parking regulations, alternate side of the street, will go into effect. So please watch for that. Like I said before, it'll be probably a day or two before the first storm comes. And now we're going to take a look at one of our current parking signs and explain how they work. Okay, so we are standing here with Officer Simmons, and she's going to explain to you how the alternate side of the street parking signs work.
Okay, as you can see, the winter warning is effective from December 1st through April 15th from 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. And in order to avoid a $50 fine, please pay attention to the signs and also what was mentioned earlier, the different options you have in being aware of the warnings. In addition, your vehicle can be towed during a winter storm. To prevent that from happening, please have your vehicle moved during a winter storm so it's easier for emergency vehicles to get through.
Just as a closing note, we'd like to make sure that everybody has a happy and safe holiday season, and please enjoy the holidays with your family.
The last thing we want to do is give someone a ticket. Please comply with the law. Make sure your car is on the proper side of the street, and allow our DPW crews to safely and efficiently and quickly get rid of the snow from the streets, and also allow our emergency vehicles to be able to respond to emergencies in a timely fashion. It can be a matter of life and death.